Thank you.
Praise God.
Well,
Islam, sir.
in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is but one God whose proper name is Allah, who appeared to us, the Master Father Muhammad. To think that one would come from 9,000 miles from a whole nother continent.
Come on.
Or should I put it like this? Many of us as children said we wanted to be this or that when we grow up. I'm going to be a fireman. I'm going to be a policeman. Some people said I want to be a doctor, a football player, whatever it is. But to think of a child to say when I grow up, I'm going to go save my people.
Come on. Go ahead,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
And then be groomed into that mindset, right? To study these different languages, to write different languages,
Yes, sir.
to come from a whole nother continent and be so wise and skillful to get into the locker room of our opponent.
Locker room. Go
Then
ahead,
get the game plan from our opponent, come back and bring it to us.
Go ahead, brother.
Thus we can say we will surely win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm talking about Master Father Muhammad.
That's right, sir.
Then he reproduced himself. And now this is a part of what many of us as Muslims are missing, the reproduction part. He reproduced himself, and one to have said was so buried in the mud that you can only see his eyeball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's right.
He didn't go get an intellectual.
That's right.
He didn't go get a college graduate.
That's right.
He reproduced himself in the least of us, so they say.
Yes, sir. So,
Taught him for 3.5 years. And because of his submission to those teachings, he was able to reproduce himself in countless others. I'm talking about Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, man, countless others.
right.
But the one that sustains us today to where we still in the game,
Yes,
the
sir.
Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
And I greet you all with the universal greeting words of peace in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum.
Islam,
Man, I'm so happy to see y'all. Yes, sir.
Good to see you, sir.
Believe it or not, this is a part of my humble beginnings. Everybody already know. It's a couple new faces, but that means somebody has been reproducing themselves.
Yes, sir.
So what I want to get to is, I was in a conversation with the Assistant Supreme Captain 30 days ago. And I've been in the nation, 89 on and off, registered in 94. But I didn't really feel Muslim. I didn't really feel knower. Like you can graduate from believer into knower.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can be a believer, but a knower walk differently from a believer.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Y'all understand?
Yes, sir.
So I had this conversation, and he took me to page 46 in the Closing the Gap. And the minister was responding to Brother Jabril. Now I want to start by setting the premises that the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad are very vast.
Yes, sir.
But there are some teachings relevant to the time we're living in right
That's
now.
right.
Like you could be studying theology at time, I know, but in that day, it's a certain type of teaching that we have to adhere to.
That's right.
Restrictive Laws, Our Success Book,
That's right.
the Holy Quran,
That's right.
Closing the Gap. Pay attention. Page 46, in Closing the Gap, the minister says, in this dispensation, there are 4 prerequisites that gives us value in the eyesight of Allah.
Come on.
It's not being the #1 final call citizen.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Shit.
That's me.
You can have that.
Yes, sir.
I want to take what's going to give me value
Yes,
in the
sir.
eyesight
Go
of
ahead.
Allah.
Go
That's
ahead.
part of it. The first one is to love Allah.
Yes, sir.
Now, what does it look like? It's a cliche to many of us. Love Allah, you got to love God. It sounds good, but what does loving Allah look good?
Yeah,
Look
come on,
like?
brother.
Love Allah. The second one is to love the truth.
Yes, sir.
You can say you love the truth, but what does it look like? Let me just give you a clue. A person who doesn't study doesn't love the truth.
That's right.
Go ahead,
That's
bro.
right.
Let's go back to the first one, love Allah. A person who doesn't pray doesn't love Allah.
That's right.
We taught that if it weren't for our prayers, he wouldn't even
You wouldn't care for us.
Yes, sir. That's the Holy
That's
Quran.
right.
So you gotta love Allah. Number 2, love the truth.
Yes, sir.
Number 3, love his purpose in coming. Now, I was just in Harlem, and I spoke in Harlem, and I let Allah use me. Like, this is not Brother Hashim talking, like I'm listening to, right? And I be in the audience with y'all listening to God talk through me. And it was said that Master Father Muhammad, before he revealed himself in 1930, he was in and out of the country. We all know
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
But one of the places that he visited was Harlem.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I never knew that. Come on.
Yes, sir.
And when he
never
saw
knew
the
that.
condition of our people, He sat on the curb
And he cried.
and cried.
I heard
Yeah.
that.
Yes,
Come on.
sir.
Yes,
If the condition of our people don't strike you like that,
That's right.
if our crying mothers due to the loss of our children don't strike you like
Yeah.
that,
Go
You in
ahead.
trouble.
if the pleading woman doesn't strike you like
that's right.
that,
Go
we
ahead.
are not yet followers of the Most High.
Go ahead.
I like that. I like that.
Yes, sir.
I grew up then. So, and then the fourth one, to stay on task, love the people who he came to save.
That's right.
And you should be able to see
That's right.
someone's
Go ahead.
love for the people
Yes, sir.
with a room full of people,
Yes,
with
sir.
a processing class full.
Yes.
I just found out that every believer should have at least one convert every year.
Wow. Come on,
Wow.
brother.
The science is study,
Come on.
pray, work, and reproduce yourself.
Right.
The reproduce ourselves part is what we take out of the equation. Some of us do study. Some of us do pray. Some of us do work. But did you know that there are 168 hours in a week?
Yes, sir.
How much of that time do we give to the mission?
Right.
Hey, come on.
There's 168 hours in the week. How much of that time do we as believers give to this work?
Come on.
So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan goes on to page 47 to say, to be a redeemer, listen, in this day and this dispensation, to be a redeemer, to be a savior, you have to be made selfless.
Come on. Say that.
For where the self is, the minister says the ego is. Where the self is, the need to have the last word is. For where the self is, vindictiveness is.
Selfless.
You have to be made selfless. Selfless means you don't have no discrimination with who you bring to this mosque.
Right.
Selfless means you don't ride by pick up certain people and bring to the mosque. You can see past the mud and see the God in each and every individual you come across.
Yes, sir.
So I'm closing now. The minister also said there's a disease in many of us where the need for money has killed the spirit of the mission.
Closing the gap.
No, that's the restrictive law for page 52,
Law.
page
Okay.
152.
Okay. Just trying to catch that.
There's a disease in many of us where the need for money has killed the spirit of the mission. And we say, Brother Captain, Brother Herman, you ain't gonna pay my light bill. You ain't gonna pay my rent, are you? That's why I ain't there. You're not gonna help me pay my, this is how we think.
Right.
Well, what the minister says to that, he said, a sheep lays down his life
For the flock.
for the flock.
Come on, come on,
Go
come
ahead,
on.
brother. Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
when we signed and joined the Nation of Islam,
Yes, sir.
we said we're gonna give up my sacrifice, my life, and what all belong to?
Allah.
My sacrifice, my life, my death, all belongs to God.
Yes,
So
sir.
when you see people and you talking to them, never mind the stench, never mind the blunt, never mind the liquor on their breath.
Yes,
See the bow tie on them,
Yes,
see the headpiece on them,
Yes, sir.
and talk until you get that person into this room, and that's how we swell the ranks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But many of us, and it was me. After I got off that phone with our Assistant Supreme Captain, I grew up. And that's 30 days ago after being in the nation over
Go
20
ahead,
years.
brother. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sister Supreme.
It's a whole nother, now, and the Supreme Captain was talking to him. Our Supreme Captain is a studied man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
How many of us have the whole back page of the Final Call newspaper memorized? What the Muslims
yet.
want,
Not
what
yet.
the Muslims believe.
Come on. Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead. We should.
Go ahead.
We should be a studying people.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So when you see black people, I don't care what they believe in. That's your brother, that's your sister.
Go ahead. Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't let no one divide you up. Look at our minister. He settles on the best part. Man, he finds the best part to talk about a black person.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We
Facts.
don't- If he's when the most honorable, listen, and I'm closing right here. If the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was said to have been buried so deep into the mud that you can only see his eyes, that's very near death. But to revive that man, to make him to be what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, the most important human being that has ever lived.
That's heavy.
Think about that now. And we on the team of the winner with a perfected religion,
ahead, brother.
and we
Go
have
ahead.
a supreme wisdom, and the minister said, we make sure we get ours. We make sure we get the teachings. We make sure we dress right, but then what? We don't make sure his people are fed.
Come on. Teach, brother.
So now this, I don't know who's singing. I don't know if it's Patti LaBelle or Aretha
Go ahead,
Franklin,
brother.
but,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
but I got a new attitude. Whoever's singing. Patti LaBelle. I got a new attitude. When I see my people now, I've been doing this work out of habit now. Become ritual to some of us.
Yes.
Become
Yes, sir.
routine for some of us.
Yes, sir.
But to think in your heart to say, man, this is really my brother. To see a sister She may be doing things inappropriate, selling her body. To see, man, that's really the second self of God right
Yes,
there.
sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
you talk to her in that manner.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Right.
You can sustain your whole marriage if you remain selfless.
Go ahead,
But
brother.
if it's going to be self-centered,
Yes, sir.
you can get your children back in your life if you remain selfless.
Selfless. Ooh, go ahead, brother.
And there's a remedy, and I'm promising you I'm closing, but I want y'all to write this surah down though. It's Surah 8, Ayah 29. There's a remedy to get back on your feet every time you fall down.
Go ahead.
Amen.
Black man, black woman, regardless of what you believe in, there's a remedy to get back on your feet every time you get knocked down. And it's sin that's keeping us down. And the minister says a person that is made selfless, I'm still on page 47 of Closing the Gap, a person that is made selfless, who remembers the prerequisites to love God, love the truth, love his purpose in coming, and love the people who he came to save, that person is sinless.
Wow.
Sinless.
Yes, sir.
You read the book and see that he
Go
said.
ahead.
That means your sins going to the sea of forgetfulness because you done gave up your life to serve him.
Right.
Like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad did.
Go
Go
ahead.
To think of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to be an individual that used to wear thrift store suits, holes in the bottom of his shoes where you can
Facts.
see the comic strips, to
Facts.
now he's sitting in the seat of the most powerful black man that has ever lived
That's
because he
Yeah,
submitted
go ahead.
himself
Right.
to
Go
the
ahead.
process.
Go ahead.
Do not, praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Don't give up on the process, believers. I don't care how long you've been
Yes,
around.
sir.
Because guess what just happened? This is the real closing now. Remember 8, Ayah 29. So I've been on tour due to the Assistant Supreme Captain throughout the different regions on teaching brothers not how to sell the Final Call newspaper, but how to save lives. It's the science. Selling things, that's one thing, but saving, it's a whole nother mentality.
Come on.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
So the Final Call newspaper went up. The sale, we went over 100,000
Yes, sir.
because different people brothers and sisters are starting to get it. And while I'm saying sisters, brothers, please do not underestimate the love that the MGT have, that the women have for the Honorable Minister Louis
Yes,
Farrakhan.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Please do not underestimate that. It's some sisters outdoing the brothers when it comes to pushing this work.
I know it, brother. Yes, sir.
All right, so Dallas, Texas said, Brother Hashim, we want to pay your first month's security and your rent if you move to Dallas, Texas. What you have shown the believers here, you have revived us. I said, no, Allah has.
Praise
He said, I know, brother, but through you, Allah has. I said, okay. I reported back to the Assistant Supreme Captain that Dallas, Texas wanted me to move there. The next city I went to was Atlanta. Atlanta said, we'll do the same thing. We'll pay the first month's security and your first month rent if you move here. My next city was Harlem. I told you I went to Harlem.
Yes, sir.
They said, we'll pay your first month's security and your rent if you move to Harlem. And I started looking at the prices of the rent in Harlem, and I said, oh, y'all gonna pay us the first month? I reported back to the Assistant Supreme Captain, and he said, Hashim, come back home.
Tampa, baby.
Now I live in Chicago,
Right.
where it all started at.
Yes, sir.
Praise be to
Now,
Allah.
praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
I've always heard of the minister and the Supreme bringing in various people with specialties into Chicago.
Now you see.
As soon as I got there, the Final Call newspaper went up to 6,700. Since I left, it went down to 700. So that means Hashim is not reproducing himself. Because if you reproduce yourself, the work remains the same even in your
Yeah,
absence.
that's right.
Right.
You still there. This right here, brothers, is a message dedicated to the resurrection of our people. I don't care what they believe in, who
That's
they
right.
think they are, what they call themselves, whatever their title is,
Yes,
what
sir.
organization they belong to. This is a message dedicated to the resurrection of our people.
Yes, sir.
All right?
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Surah 8, Ayah 29 says, oh, you believe, and when you hear that directive, you should come to your seat, to the edge of your seat, because you're about to get a directive instruction.
Right.
Oh, you believe. Here's the proposition and the deal we get. If you keep your duty to Allah, if means that you have some prerequisites and qualifications to do. If you keep your duty to Allah, okay, what do I get, Allah, if I do that? If you keep your duty to Allah, I will grant a distinction between you. That means we're going to set you aside from these other believers.
That's hard.
I'm going to protect you.
Come on.
I'm going to do away with your evils. I get all that? And he ain't done yet. And he said, and the Lord, and Allah is the Lord of mighty grace. Not regular grace, Not a grace period.
Come on. Right.
Mighty great.
Right.
All of you keep your duty to Allah.
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes,
And
sir.
despite what you go through, because you're going to get knocked down.
Oh, yes.
You're going to get bent to the left and to the right.
Yes,
you're
sir.
going to mess up.
Yes, sir.
If you can remember that you are a believer, you can keep your duty to Allah, He's going to erase your sin off your track record. And that burden is going to take you from this to this.
Go ahead, God.
And now you're back Superman and Superwoman.
Go ahead, God.
Brothers and sisters, thank y'all for your time. Thank y'all for listening. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Praise be to Allah. I want to bring up a brother. Now Denver is special to me. I don't know if y'all paid attention, but I even seen 51 in the address coming here. I'm like, okay then. But,
Come on.
Denver is special to me because due to my rebellion, the minister said, brother, your wife is an MGT. I was in Chicago when he said it. And I went, man, I can change her. I'm going to make her Muslim. And the Holy Quran say only Allah make Muslim.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on.
Listen to that, brother. Even with
Come
your
on.
wife, only He make Muslim, not
That's
you.
right.
Yes, sir.
Even
Yes,
with
sir.
your husband, only He make Muslim, not you. And I got involved with a sister who, of course, we attracted to the lost found. We the opposite.
Right.
I got involved with a sister, and yeah, I like it. And assalamu alaikum, and she stopped eating pork, and
Come on.
I jumped the gun fast. But she didn't say I believe though.
Yeah.
Right.
But I said I do. But the minister said, your wife is an MGT. I got in some trouble. Some of y'all know about it. But I grew up a bit, and I was locked down for 7 months in Arapahoe County. And I grew up in Arapahoe County.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it was Ramadan, and I opened up the Surah 94. I don't know if y'all remember this story. The expansion.
Come on.
Expansion means you go from this to this, from little to big with wisdom.
Right.
And I remember, when you in trouble, you remember everything you did wrong.
Come on.
But there was a group of believers, in particular one, in 51, that made that situation cool for me while I was in hell.
Okay.
When I didn't feel the pain. I did miss y'all. I did miss my so-called freedom, but Allah said, you're not in jail because of a particular crime.
Mm-hmm.
You're in jail because I asked you to keep your duty.
I know about that, brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Allah has a way of getting each and every one of our attention.
Yes,
it may
sir.
not be jail for you. It may be something else He got to get your attention.
but he gonna get
But
it.
this brother Herman, he kept it cool while I was in this fire. man.
Praise be to Allah.
Never did he not answer my phone call for 7 months.
Wow.
Never did my books be empty for 7 months.
Wow.
And that's what it means to take care. This man, now y'all know a big brother Herman family. My brother. That ain't my
Right.
son. That ain't my daughter. No, all of y'all are brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir.
We all family.
That's
and we want for our brother what I want for myself.
Yes, sir.
ourselves. And I want to bring up a brother that's special to me, who kept me cool in the den.
Come on.
To where, and it was so peaceful to where when it came to my time to get out of jail, the judge said, what you all have done to this man
Come on.
is unethical.
Right.
And I'm throwing the case out.
Wow.
And Allah did that.
Right.
Because I said, I know, I'm never going to leave you again, Allah. I don't care how fine she is.
Right.
And I want to bring up Brother Herman, man, who kept it cool for me. Give me a hand and welcome me, Brother Herman, to the Bible. Thank you, sir.
Hey man, y'all keep it going for the Hashim.